Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebartogo.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss in bourbon who we would love to see write a book. My name is Kathy Cool. Please join me in welcoming my co-host Steve Akeley, along with our special guest, Darren McRoy and Lori Mangum.
Hey gang, what's up?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, we're going to be getting to this topic after the break, and we're talking about a biography, someone that we want to learn more about their life, so we'll have them write. The only one we could come up with that has already written this type of thing would be Fred No, so he's off the table. He's already got that book out there. His life has been written about, and I don't know, maybe he has another book in him at some point, but he's got most of the basics covered in that first book, so we don't need that one, but we'll talk about anybody else, and we'll see who people want to learn more about. Before we get to that, Kathy said there's something she wanted to talk about. Who or what is that, Kathy?
So there are authors that are finding books on Amazon that say they have been written by them, but they have been generated by AI.
Oh.
And they're having a really hard time getting them removed.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
As an author, what do you think of this? AI, like people are saying, I'm Ernest Hemingway. AI, generate a book, and it generates a book, and then it's out there, and nobody can get it taken down.
Wow.
What does this mean for the future of literature?
It's bad. There's no doubt about it. That's not a good thing. It is not good. I think there needs to be some legislature involved in this at the federal level that, you can't stop it once the technology is there, but it has to be labeled as such. This is written in the style of Ernest Hemingway. And if that's the case, I mean, because I could write a book now, and if I published it that I wrote, I didn't have AI do it, I wrote it myself and said, this is in the style of Ernest Hemingway. Legally, I could do that. I think they need to have the same sort of rules with AI, not presented as Ernest Hemingway actually wrote this, and you never heard of it before, but it's been, now I'm publishing it or whatever. So, yeah, and I could see where you could do that. Amazon makes it pretty easy to self-publish. You could, you load it up yourself. There's not really any human interaction. You load up the book, and then you collect the royalties off of that as it sells. So, I can see
so
where
let's say you go out to Amazon one day and you find out now there are 25 books written by Steve Akeley, and half of them aren't from you.
Right.
Are you pissed about this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's, create your own name. And I'm not a big enough name where anybody would actually do that, but in concept, the idea that someone is making money off someone else's name is not a good thing when they're representing it as work being done by them. That is not. That's not right, for sure.
And I guess you could always bring suit and say, oh, I am the real Steve Akeley, and those royalties belong to me.
They should, for sure.
We'll ask Katie about that.
Yeah.
I should
They
have
definitely
done
should,
that.
and I would assume you would win that, but then you got to engage lawyers, and there's expense up front,
That's
and
true.
so you got to go through that whole
Mhm.
process, and that can take time. And
Yeah.
does this person really have any money? I mean, they got the royalties. Did they keep them? Will they have them to pay you? I mean,
Yeah.
we all have a good friend in Adam Stumpf, who won like a $3 million lawsuit. He didn't get paid anything for it, though, other than he had to pay out legal bills that he paid to get that award. But he didn't get any of the money from it because the person filed bankruptcy and said, "I don't have the money. I don't have any money."
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think it is a big problem because, like, growing up, I grew up in a younger age, and we're like, oh, robots are going to take over a lot of jobs by the time you're in the job force. Like, they were just saying it. And I thought always the creative fields would be fine and there wouldn't be that. But the fact that we've already to the point where they're taking over the creative thinking aspects and different things.
They're going to go out there and take care of trees. And what are you going to do?
Hmm?
Your trees and you're in Bourbon now.
I was going to say.
There's going to be a robot. There's going to be like the Jetsons maid running the ABV barrel shop one day.
Yeah, the Jetsons could be. Yeah.
As long as they're playing the theme song, I'm good. You know what? I love that theme song.
That's funny.
Yeah. When I go to Truth or Consequences, New Mexico next year, I'm staying in the Jetsons room. So
really,
Jetsons themed room. Yes.
How fun!
How fun is that? So
That'd
the
be
warden
super
picked that
fun.
room out. Yes. So yes, the place that we're staying has different themes. It's in New Mexico. It's the Jetsons. So
I love the Jetsons. That was
Nice.
like one of my favorite old TV shows when I was growing up.
yes, it's good. It's good. They have it's weird. I don't know how they came up with. I like the idea of the Twilight Zone. That would be the one that I would have wanted to stand just based on the theme. But if you get to look at the rooms, the Jetsons room is way cooler. It's got more going on. So she wanted.
Did you all catch that this kid said old TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anyone else
course.
personally offended by that? No.
Yeah, we're used to
I'm
it.
sorry, slightly before my time.
Yeah. He's only 24, Lori. So how about that?
He's a baby.
Yeah. So there you go. That's
Think about where you were 24 years ago.
Yes. Yeah. I have a kid who's older than him. This is a scary thing. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, but it just happens. It just happens. At some point, you just realize, I'm old. I just have to deal with it. So, you're still here. So that's a good thing.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah. So, all right. What else? Does anybody else have to answer that question? Was there a question?
I just played off
I
you,
was just
Steve. It's
looking
all
for
good.
discussion.
Okay.
I did.
Talking
So
about
on the
books,
same.
and AI is taking over the universe.
Right.
On the same AI vein, I saw something in the Times the other day about they tested AI on Harvard admissions essays and like gave it the prompt and a little bit of personal like facts and then let it write it. And in 3 out of the 4 tests that they published, it would have been accepted.
Yeah.
It would have been Harvard entrance. And the only one that would not have been accepted was they asked to have a song that interpreted like how you feel about things. And they took AI took the lyrics of a song very literally when it was very symbolic because it doesn't get nuance like that. And so that failed because the song was about sex and they made it about like family vacation. It's like, no, that doesn't work
That doesn't work.
for Harvard.
Interesting correlation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So-
AI does a pretty good job, but then when it messes up big. I've noticed too. So
So what I read recently was that as long as AI is getting fed information that comes from existing information, it's fine. But once it starts to try and feed off of another AI, then it just gets dumber and dumber and dumber.
Huh.
So
Yeah, like we are. Now that we're just living off of AI, we're going to get dumber and dumber and dumber.
You're
I
probably
think we
right.
already are.
Yeah. I think we're already heading down that path as we rely more and more for the computer just to write stuff now. I think over time we're going to get dumber. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's out there now. You can't reel it back in. It's there. So there you go. There you go. We just got to live with it. All right. On that note,
that everything you did as a kid isn't on the internet.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Everything Darren did as a kid is still on the internet.
It's on the internet. Everything Darren did.
The only problem with that is I don't know how to use the internet. So
yeah. Darren's like the one person who's doesn't know anything about social media or anything like that. So
good for you, Darren.
Yeah. There you go.
That's why he's going to win Survivor.
Yeah, he probably will. The only problem where he's not going to score well is because it tends to be in the tropics. His summer outfit is cut off shorts and cowboy boots. So I don't know how good he's going to do in the challenges when he's running around in his cowboy boots and his shorts. I don't think it's a good look.
I would also have problems with anything that requires big hands. I just thought of this. Like, you can carry a lot of stuff. I can't do that. I have really small hands.
He suffers from small hand syndrome. So yes, he's working with people in the bourbon industry to start a certification of saying bottles are small hand approved or not. So it'll be like, yes, that bottle's small hand approved.
All right.
We'll see how that goes for him. So yeah. All right. On that note, it is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Kathy Cool is up first. Kathy, what do you got?
I'm going to open up this Planters.
Okay.
It's from the ABV Barrel Shop.
Nice. Okay. All right. We'll let Lori go next.
All right. I'm still drinking that Nearest. That's what I got tonight.
Okay.
Let's see. This is my last shot. Come on, baby purr.
That was your best one yet. It was your best one yet. You ended on a high note.
Went out on top.
It wasn't enough to take over the lead, though, unfortunately. I've got Buzzard's Roost here. This is a barrel strength rye offering. So here we go. Slide on the set. Just base. Not enough to take over the lead. Kathy has the lead. She looks to be in firm position to take the victory here. We'll see what happens. Darren, you're up.
I got some Bardstown Discovery Series 10.
Ooh.
You hit the mic.
I hit the mic. That's a foul.
Rebound.
Struck the mic. Yeah. Kathy wins on
That
the
was
mic.
my worst offering of the night.
Oh, that was enough to
You
win.
guys think I try and
Cheers.
tip the scales?
She does. We know what you do.
Cheats.
We know what you do.
Usually when Lenny's here, because I feel like he needs to be brought down a
He
peg.
needs to be brought down a
There you
notch, right?
go.
Lenny
Keep him
gets too
honest,
confident.
Kathy.
He gets too
I'm
confident.
trying, Lori. I'm trying.
So, all right, what we'll do next, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, it's going to be time to talk about who in bourbon do we want to write a book. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. We're also sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop focuses exclusively on barrel picks. It's the job of owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnat to seek out distilleries that are making the best whiskey in the world, taste through their barrels, and select the ones that are off-profile in the best way possible. They have high standards and refuse to allow anything into their store other than something they would be proud to have their name on. This leads to some really awkward conversations with distilleries that can't make it, but they do it for you, their customers. Learn more about what is going on at their St. Louis-based store by heading over to abvbarrelshop.com. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com.
This is Tim Swyatt, and watch out for the Fosnot finger. And you're listening for the Bourbon Daily.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we are going to talk about who we want to write a book.
Yes, we are.
About themselves.
About themselves. So, yes, this isn't, the guess so-and-so has a new cookbook out or a new children's book or, a book on how to make bourbon. It's about themselves. We want to learn about them. This is the people we want to focus on as people.
Are we going to go round robin?
I don't know. Do we want to do it that way or just want to throw them out there?
I think that's fair.
Okay, let's go round robin.
That way we don't have to choose one. That's good.
All right, Kathy, you can pick the order. Kathy's in charge. Kathy's running the show here. Who?
I'm running the show. Okay, well, the order is going to be Steve first.
Okay. The person that I would like to see do a biography. I don't know if anybody has any guesses.
Freddie Johnson. Nope.
Yeah, it's going to be Freddie Johnson, 100%.
It's
Freddie Johnson has,
round.
a great family history he can write about. He's got a great story himself. I mean, he had a very successful career working for AT&T. He can talk about how he was not in the bourbon business, and then he talks about on the tours and stuff like that. His plan was to fulfill his dad's dream of working there for a year. His dad wanted him to work at the distillery, so in his mind, if I work there a year, I've worked at the distillery. Dad will be, I've completed what I promised my father. Unfortunately, as his father was, sick and dying, he could rest easy knowing he had fulfilled that. Now we're, 15 years later, Freddie's still at the distillery. Freddie wouldn't leave the distillery now. He loves it. But I would love to hear his life story. I'd like to hear the stories of him growing up at the distillery, playing there as a child. I've heard some of those. I'd love to hear more. That would be a stand in line on the day it was released, wherever Freddie's at. I can get his autograph in there. It would be one of those type of moments. I'm not into camping out for bourbon. I'd camp out to be at the Freddie inaugural signing when the book got released.
How many days would you camp out? Are you doing 2 or 3 like some of these people were?
No. I do overnight because I don't mind camping out overnight. I've done that before for bottles because I like hanging out with the people. It's fun to hear the conversations that go on. There's a lot of camaraderie there. And I've never spent like a whole night, like get there at like 5 o'clock, but I've got there at like, woke up very early, like 2 a.m, and then spent the rest of the time there. And
we waited in line together once, Steve. Remember
we
that
did.
Peerless line?
Yeah, Peerless. Yeah. Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
We did. Yes. Yeah.
And then we did a barrel pickup in Neely the same day. That was a nice day.
Yeah,
that sounds like a great day.
Yeah, that was a really good
That was when
day.
they released their bourbon. That was the first bourbon they ever released. And
we got it signed.
And then we went up to Neely and picked the barrel, which was Neely Toast Crunch. That's the barrel we picked. So
that was one of my favorites ever.
Yeah, that was a great day. So there you go. Kathy, you're picking the order here. That's who I would go.
I'm
Freddie Johnson. No one else can say that now.
On my screen, next is Lori.
Okay.
All right. We talked about him in another show. I would love to have a biography by Bernie Lubbers. I think that would be super fun.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it would be like, it would be one of those, basically a stand-up act in written form.
Yeah. And
get it in audio version.
Oh my gosh. Audiobook. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. That's the comedy right there.
True. And then he could play, you listen to audiobooks, there's usually a little music between chapters, whatever. He can play that himself.
He can play it.
Bernie can do that too. So, and he's got a fascinating life. 20 years as a comedian. That's a lot of time on the road. There's got to be good road stories from that, I'm sure. And then, he's a guy who made his own job in the bourbon industry.
Literally.
Yeah, he literally created a job
like
for
Bourbon
himself.
And Tim Laird. Those are the two. They made their own jobs.
Yeah, just create their own jobs, and it's amazing. And he is good at what he does. And he's one of the all-time greats. And yeah, that would be a great book for sure.
And Darren is up.
I am going off from one of the all-time greats. Maybe one of the all-time greats. We can say that in 20 years. But I think Demetrius Kane needs to write a book.
Demetrius Kane's book.
He would have good stories.
I think it would need to be a series because I don't think he can fit it all into one book. But that man,
he definitely has the story.
Right. That's a really good one.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff. Okay, Kathy, you've saved yourself for last. Who do you think?
Yeah. I know we took Fred No off the table, but Freddie No.
Sure, Freddie No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His dad and his grandfather and the stories that come from that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. He's had certainly an interesting life so far, and I would assume there'll only be more. I mean, growing up when he was close to his grandfather, so he was certainly close with Booker Notes. There's a lot of stories there. His dad, he got to see his dad, get the job all the way up to retirement. He's known Fred throughout all of that, which is cool. And now he's making his own way and he's doing some cool things. So that would be a great book for sure. Yeah. All those would be great.
I have a runner-up.
Okay.
It's I didn't say it because she's kind of already working on this, but Molly Wellman, any book that she writes,
history book. Yeah. So I put her on my list too.
Okay. Molly Wellman would be a great one for sure, because she's had an interesting life too, from tough times to great times to,
and just like the stories you hear from behind the bar, like you can make a book out of that. As long as she's worked in a bar longer than I've been alive.
Yeah.
And I think there's got to be some great stories there.
Yeah. She'll like hearing that
He's
too.
Just
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Want to talk about that some more, do you?
Okay. Any other backups there, like runners up?
I don't know if it would be like a traditional book in terms of like having a co-writer and publishing, but like I would love an oral history from Papa Neely.
Papa Neely would be good.
Oh, yeah.
His
just
stories,
like him and with the background noise of the rocking chair on the porch,
That would be great. I can't believe nobody said Jimmy Russell.
Jimmy Russell.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he is bourbon royalty. So, yeah.
And the last one I had on my list was Amy Akeley.
Oh, there you go, the warden.
The warden. Why would that be interesting?
It's like a behind the scenes of
behind the scenes. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Like when you fight about leaving the garage door up. And
yeah. She
just wants embarrassing Steve stories. That's all it is.
Yeah. Like when she opened up the door just to the audience, and I was in my underwear, that type of thing.
Yeah, because everyone strips down to their underpants in their kitchen.
Yes, I do. 100%. That's right inside the garage. I mean, and she knows this. She should have knocked, I felt.
I will say, most women that I know, the first thing we take off when we get in the house is our bra. So.
Oh, hell yeah.
There you go. So, well, that's good. All right. Anybody else that would be good to hear?
I think Jackie's Ican would have a great book, too.
Yeah. She's on my list, too.
She's on mine, too. Yeah. Especially if we gave her, like, another 5 years or so, like, with new things in the mix. Like, what happens with what's beginning now? I want that chapter, too.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Joe Maliocco of Michter's. I mean, you're talking about a guy who bought that brand for $200. I mean, that's an amazing story. And, what was he doing before that as a lawyer? He was a bartender before that. He was a bartender, then a lawyer, and then in the whiskey industry. I think he'd be a good story to hear for sure. I'd like to know more. He leaves you wanting to know more. Yeah.
Oh, I just thought of a good one off the top of my head.
Okay.
Dan Garrison.
Dan Garrison. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Like the start of the craft whiskey movement and the bullshit that he had to endure down there and
in Texas.
I think that'd be a good book.
Through. He also
figuring out how to do bourbon in Texas.
Yeah. He also spent a lot of time in Kentucky. And again, this is before, the craft whiskey boom where, him coming up and talking to people like Jimmy Russell and folks like that was unique. It's like, I'm going to start a distillery. No one was starting distilleries back then. He's been doing this like 25 years. No one was starting bourbon distilleries 25 years ago. So you go in and you talk to somebody who's on this big scale production, like Jimmy Russell at the Wild Turkey, or Elmer T. Lee, the people he was talking to. I'm sure it was kind of weird. And then, he was this kind of like novelty of, this guy wants to do this in Texas of all places.
Yeah.
That would be a great story for sure. Yeah. Okay. Got another one.
One is still off of Russell, right? Jimmy Russell.
Yes. Yeah. And it was, I think, and wasn't it like Jimmy had won it like off of Elmer T. Lee or something? It was like that old
I'm
Buffalo.
pretty sure that was
still
lineage of that.
Yeah, it's this crazy story about that still. So yeah.
So okay, this opens up a whole new what could be show. What about stories of specific still? So like that one would be a great story to have where everywhere it's been, who distilled on it and everything.
Mhm.
Is there any other stills that pop into mind?
Sure.
Stumps.
Adam Stump's still.
Adam
that would be
Stump,
good.
yeah.
Royce
I think-
Neely still has a great story. There's who else? Todd Leopold's Three Chambers.
I was going to say the Three Chambers still. I think
Three
would be
Chambers
a
still.
great book / movie thing.
Yeah, the story of Stills
Ooh,
would be
bourbon
that'd be an interesting
movies.
book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
You know,
good.
wouldn't it be great if there was someone who made movies about bourbon?
Hey, do we know
Only if we knew
anyone
someone
who
like that.
does
Damn.
that?
Yes. In retirement, I'm deciding what I want to do when I retire. I mean, is it make more movies? Is it just write? What am I doing when I retire? So, from all this grind of what I'm doing now, I mean, I got a lot of stuff I'm doing. At some point, I want to slow down, but I don't want to disappear. So, what's next? I don't know.
You get to like pass the torch and then manage at a higher level, doing
Manage at
the
a
next
higher
big
level.
thing.
Doing stuff that the stuff that I just really want to do.
Yeah.
So do everything. Okay, Darren, you got another one?
Julian Van Winkle.
Julian Van Winkle. Yeah.
Writing a book would be an interesting one, too.
It
I
would
just
be.
listened to an interview with him the other day, so that's
Yeah.
why he popped into my head.
There is a book out there that was written by someone else, about him, and he worked with the person.
Okay.
So that one's kind of out there. I forget what it's called. Pappy Land, I think.
Okay.
Is the name. So check that book out. Though it's weird, the author takes a twist where he writes mostly about himself. It's like 75% him and 25% Julian Van Winkle.
That's how I like to write my autobiography.
Yes, he's like-
it's all about me.
It's like, I can't believe how much my life is intertwined with him. And they start telling his personal story. It's like, I want to hear about Julian Van Winkle, not about your personal story. I don't know who you are. I'm less interested in you than you are,
We talked about him on that show where you're talking about people who were tools.
Yeah. It's worth listening to that. I did the audiobook of it, and it was different for sure. I did not expect that. I was just expecting it to be all about the Pappy story, but it was not. So one that just focused solely on Julian Van Winkle would be good, especially his family. His grandfather,
his family history,
and his
all of that.
father. His father was a military hero who came back and ran the company, and it's cool stuff. So there you go. There's some ideas for bourbon books. Seems like we got a lot of them. So let's get all those written, and then when all those get written, we'll give you some more. I'm sure we'll get this group back together. We'll come up with more for you. So there's definitely more to be had out there for sure. On that note, we're going to wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Darren, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram using AI to write my own book at The Bourbon Adventures.
All right. Lori, how about you?
I love the pre-introduction every time. Y'all can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Spirited Curves.
All right, Kathy.
I am on Instagram at KK Cask Strength.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop. We're working 7 days a week. We'd love to have you come in. You can try before you buy at our place. So check us out online for everything you want to know about the shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. Kathy, anything else to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Network.
We're laughing behind you there, Lori and I, because Darren just disappeared. He just hung up.
You just want to hear my send-off?
Hey, it was bad the last time. He just
It was bad the last time, but I would expect his support.
Nope. He's
Yeah,
peaced
Darren.
out. Yeah. He's got stuff to do. Gonna go sit around in his underwear and watch TV, I'm sure. So there you go. There you go. Audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Later.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some of the great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro is owned and operated by Russell Creed, who makes stills for the hobby distiller. He offers a one-stop shop for everything the at-home distiller needs. Whether it's a small, experimental stovetop still or something bigger you run outside, he has the still or parts you would have difficulty fabricating yourself if you were trying to build a DIY still project. Additionally, he has resources to assist in creating unique distilled spirits, including heirloom grains, barrels for aging, and recipes. Check out Russell's company online at moonshinestillpro.com. Finally, I have a question for you. Have you ever boxed a bear? Of course not. That'd be silly. Bears really don't follow the rules, so shots in the back of the head, punches to the nuts, and scrums after the bell would be the norm. A better idea would be to enjoy Boxing Bear Whiskey, a brand crafted by Nobleton's Distilling House in Union, Missouri, and sold exclusively at the ABV Barrel Shop in suburban St. Louis. This is a popular offering that sells out quickly, but when you're in town, stop by the ABV Barrel Shop and see if they have it in stock. Better yet, sign up for their email and text distribution over at abvbarrelshop.com and you'll know exactly when it is in stock. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.